Hi there, it's Jeff with Clearwater Plumbers.
I'm Brian with Clearwater Plumbers.
So we're talking about the 8 things every homeowner should know about their water system, and we're bouncing some questions off of Mr. Brian. So Brian, right now we're down to drinking water and thoughts on drinking water. So we've talked about, we got city water, we got well water. You can pull water from surface water. But specifically, they call that like a point of use system. What would you call this?
This is exactly that. It's a point of use system for consumption. You don't hook this up to an entire system to clear out an entire house. Instead, it's at the end of the line. It goes under a kitchen sink, and it's a filter in which you will get water out of a faucet on the sink. This is the way that we get good, clean drinking water. And what a reverse osmosis system is going to do, this is actually a 5-stage 100-gallon per day reverse osmosis system. Essentially, it has a 5-micron sediment filter, 2 carbon filters, a reverse osmosis membrane that's right here, and then a final coconut shell buffer for the final. So this is going to give you crystal clear drinking water. Now, what that's going to do over just a carbon filter is going to pull out taste and odor. But that's all it's going to do. So that's what this stage 2 and stage 3 are doing. Where the magic happens is really in this reverse osmosis membrane. And through a semi-permeable membrane, what's happening is water is being pushed through almost on a molecular level and being stripped of any contaminants. So TDS, or what we call total dissolved solids, are any type of ion that's attached to water. And this is the only way to truly strip the water of that TDS, and you're looking at like about a 98% success rate on this stuff. I mean, it's pulling everything from minerals, from chlorine, chemicals.
That'll pull the hardness.
It's going to, it strips it. Mm-hmm. It just pulls everything out. But it does it at a very slow rate. That's one of the reasons you see these tanks. If you think about 100 gallons per day, that's a trickle coming out. So we have these tanks that go with them, which fill up and pressurize and allow you to get good volume for a glass of water. You can also you can use them in your coffee maker. When using a reverse osmosis system for your coffee maker, for example, you don't have to descale your coffee maker. Mm-hmm. It actually just keeps it clean.
Right. And we even had some of our ice cubes when we used to make them in a tray, that they would actually get these spouts on them because the water is so pure. And even hooking them up to ice machines, we've had customers joke about it being crystal ice.
Yes.
It is so. It's
when you freeze water, be it city water or well water, it's going to come out white like snow. It's going to be very opaque, and you can't see through it. When that ice melts down, then that sediment is kind of pulled from it, and a lot of times you'll see crud in the bottom of a glass where ice has melted. With a reverse osmosis system, this is going to be crystal clear ice, so the ice cubes will actually be transparent. And when you take reverse osmosis ice and put it in a glass of water, the ice cubes almost disappear. Mm-hmm. It's very, very pure.
And so city water, well water, where would you recommend it?
Everywhere. Use it for drinking, use it for consumption. You can use reverse osmosis water in places where, say, something's very needs cleaning, but in a gentle fashion. You can use it to wipe down crystal and things like that. And because there's no TDS in it, it's just good, clean water to clean with even.
And I would say even, at my house, the way we do it is, so if you're cooking spaghetti, the kicker is this is as good, if not better, than bottled water. So the bottled water you're buying, they're running them through an RO process.
Yes.
So what I'm giving to my 5 dogs is bottled water without the bottle. And then when we're cooking, if we're boiling broccoli or making spaghetti, me and my daughters, my wife, we're cooking with this water. It doesn't have any of the chlorine in it. It doesn't have any of that junk in it. You think about everybody's trying to eat healthy, but then they're boiling their stuff in what's equivalent to pool water, with the chlorine. And so what's awesome about this is really inexpensively, you can cook, clean, pets, whatever, with really clean water.
One other thing on that, you mentioned cooking with it. If you have a pot of boiling water, when you're using regular city hard water, you end up with that white ring around the inside of your pot that's so hard to scrub off. Those scaling minerals that stick to it. When using reverse osmosis water, have you noticed you don't get that ring anymore?
Right. Yeah. It kind of bakes it
Things
on.
come out a lot cleaner.
So, real quick, so this is another one. Would you explain this one to me?
So this one's actually a 500 gallon per day unit. This is actually more so a commercial application, or even it can be used as a whole house system. It requires a lot more parts, a big holding tank, and other things. But it's basically, this is a high yield version of this.
So, if I had a restaurant, if I had something like that, I would say, hey, Brian, help us out. I want to give our customers the best drinking water.
With this, I mean, if you think about how much water a restaurant uses, something like this would be perfect because they can use it for all the cooking. Their cleanup's going to be easier because the pans aren't going to have the mineral deposits on it. Food's not going to be tainted with chlorine and other minerals that they didn't want in the food. When they rinse their salads and everything else, you're using clean water. And then if you think about the drinking water that you're giving to all your patrons, you can get it all from this unit.
Yeah.
And so everything's going to be that much cleaner. Your ice makers, for example, are not going to have the problems that they would on normal hard water because you're not putting all those minerals through it. They can operate much more efficiently.
So at my house, my daughters in the morning, every morning they fill their water bottles from the house, their ice bottles. They take them to school. That's the water they drink. They don't have to buy the bottled water or whatever. And it's kind of funny. They've turned into water snobs because we have the reverse osmosis system at our house, where now if they go to a restaurant and they eat at that restaurant, they'll say, "Oh, this water tastes funny." They don't drink a lot of Cokes or anything like that, so they drink water. And whenever they get water, it's funny, you really, once you get used to drinking good water, you don't realize what bad water is. I mean, I grew up drinking out of a hose running around the neighborhood, and it tastes like a garden hose, but if you're used to it, you're used to it. But really, good water is,
Water snob.
Water snob. Let's...
Got to do what you ought to, clear water.